Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about film. This video, before I get into it, is for anyone shooting film either for the first time or for anyone shooting expired film specifically for the first time. There's a really specific tip that I wish I had known before shooting expired film. If you're a film photographer, you're gonna learn nothing from this unless you just wanna hear my voice talk about my experience, which is what I'm gonna share. That said, let's dive into shooting expired film. So really quick, a story. I was introduced to film photography in high school. I took a class. We got to shoot film. We got to use a darkroom, actually process and develop and scan, do all of the things, which was super fun, exciting to learn that process. Recently, I've really gotten into photography again. Obviously, this channel is completely dedicated to photography. Subscribe if you haven't yet. But digital has been what I've been shooting. It's cost efficient. You buy the camera, you have a way of editing the photos. You don't really have to pay for anything else, to be honest. Film is one of those like forbidden fruits. Like it's so cool and like I want to shoot film, and the sort of like results you get because of the stakes. Like you pay for the film, it's expensive, you only get a certain number of shots, developing them costs money. The results are like so much more impactful. Whether it's a good photo you took or not, like there's something there that's really enticing. And so I've been wanting to shoot film for a while, and I actually reached out to my dad and said, hey, do you still have the film photography camera that I used in high school when I did that project? He did, and he gave me the camera bag, and in that camera bag there was 5 rolls of Kodak Max 800 that expired in 2004. Now I knew like expired film can sometimes produce some wonky results, but it can be really fun, right? And so I was like, hey, this is free film. Let's do it. Let's shoot this. So the first roll, I just went out. I tried to meter as best I could with the camera. I had to place the battery, was trying to learn the camera and focusing and all that again. And the results I got back weren't great, but I was kind of just like, I mean, I guess this is what this expired film looks like. I waited a little while and then I shot another roll of film, and it was just so dark, and I couldn't figure out why it was so dark. I was just like, oh, it's expired film, that's why. And then I came across some videos and stuff talking about like, it's a really, like in the film photography community, it's obvious. I just had no idea. But you have to like trick your camera into thinking that the film you're shooting is lower than it actually is. So basically what you're doing is you're setting your ISO on your film camera to be a lower number than the actual film stock. And the rule that I've heard is basically for every decade that the film is expired, you want to drop it a half. So this was Kodak Max 800. It expired in 2004. So it's almost 2024, so that's 2 decades. So I dropped it from 800 to 200 on my camera. I went out and shot some fall leaves doing this, and the results I got were way better. I mean, the film itself still isn't that great. It was falling apart, pretty grainy. It was stored in this bag, who knows what temperature, all that kind of stuff matters. But just switching that ISO setting down 2 stops improved the images way more than I could have imagined. And so it was kind of a fix. And that's the real tip here I wanted to share today was, if you're shooting expired film, depending on the day it expired, the date that's on the film, for every decade that it has been expired, drop your ISO value down and then shoot normally with the camera, meter correctly. There's somewhere between like 3 and 5 stops you can actually change in terms of overexposing that will be fine. So, you know, if I were to do it again, I would probably even try to go down to ISO 100, overexpose even more, and see if I would get even better photos. I just wanted to show you, you know, the photos I was taking before and how they turned out so dark. I liked the photos. They were dark. It was kind of a vibe, but it was underexposed. And when it's underexposed, you really lose any sort of detail in shadows. It just falls away. Whereas with film, you might know, you might not. If you're beginner film photographer, you want to overexpose your film more than underexpose it. It's different with digital, it's actually the opposite. You lose highlights and you can usually pull back shadows. When you're shooting film, it's the opposite. There's another tip if you're like a really brand new film photographer. You want to overexpose because you can pull down highlights, you can't pull up shadows as easily in post. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm not going to be shooting film a ton, but I do love digital photography. I shoot on a Fujifilm X-T4 and I have the Ricoh GR3, which honestly, that's probably my favorite camera of all time. You can watch my love letter to it up here, which many people have enjoyed on this channel if you haven't seen it already. I'm interested to hear from you all if you have any stories about shooting film, especially expired film. Let me know in the comments if there's any tips and tricks too that I could take. I still have 2 or 3 rolls left of that Kodak Max. I'd love to take out and shoot that, but I want to get the best possible quality I can out of that 20-year-old expired film. So let me know if you have any tips and tricks for me in the comments below, and I will see you all in the next video.